or you can practice upon invoke devotion to the from the three rules, and in such a way it would be very helpful too. Or another way, the third way, is that the illness is just very timely because I tend to be very arrogant. People might say that I'm not arrogant at all, but I don't think that's very necessary, because as it is stated in words of my perfect teacher, it says that jealousy and arrogance are the most difficult to recognize for people. For yourself, you may feel that you're humble and down to earth and all of that, but maybe for others, you're very arrogant. And when you are young, it is difficult to discover that, but when you get older and more mature and with more wisdom, you would understand that you were very arrogant, and lots of the things that you did were out of arrogance or jealousy. Even lots of negative things could result in the things that you regret nowadays. So now it talks about using sufferings to overcome arrogance. As I explained before, as long as we are in samsara, we're never independent or truly free or in control of our lives. Sentient beings are not free. They don't have full control of their own lives. This is extremely important to remember, because if every one of us could contemplate on the suffering of samsara in depth, then I think that would be very helpful for your practice. Because people do not understand the suffering in samsara, and they do not understand the impermanence. Therefore, they would praise and they would admire whatever worldly success other people have. But once you really get to know those people that you admire, in terms of people who achieved worldly success, you would understand that those people, after attaining all those admirable things, they are still suffering inside. I myself have a deep feeling of that because I've met many with wealth and with fame and so on. The worldly beings praise different kinds of qualities and different kinds of materials and things that people might desire. But at the end, it turned out, all of those things turn out to be not so wonderful anymore, because its nature is somewhat either the cause of suffering or the creation of suffering. So through those teachings, we would be able to understand we need to use suffering to destroy, we need to use we need to use suffering to overcome our arrogance as well as belittling others. If we cannot practice virtuous deeds and stop others from doing so, these are the things that could completely destroy our virtuous deeds and roots. Arrogant people tend to belittling others. I remember there's a story of Bhikshu Niti from the sutra. He looked down on his subordinates a lot. Therefore, the fruition of him is spend 500 lifetimes to clean the bathroom. Therefore, in our lifetime, with our own wealth, social status, and all different kinds of things that may be better than others, all of these kind of standards, we would belittle others, scoff at others, create painful situations for others, and the fruition of such is in fact quite horrifying and would be really difficult to endure. Therefore, this kind of arrogance is talked about in the Sutra of Right Mindfulness, where it says that your family lineage, your wealth, and all of those things that you tend to enjoy in this world, in fact, are all impermanent, and the wise ones should not believe and rely on any of those. Whatever you have in this lifetime that are admirable, such as beautiful appearance, such as the family lineage, such as for example, there are people who are from the family of government officials and so on, or with wealth, or different toys. I remembered that when I was young, all the kids really enjoy collecting the wrappers of candies, and the kids would collect all those wrappers and would compare one to another. If one got a little piece of fruit candy, they would be quite proud and started to showing off to the others. See, I have this candy, but you don't. In fact, for the worldly beings, it is exactly the same, except that it's no longer candy anymore. It is a car, a house. It is your degree, a bachelor degree or a PhD. People then compare yourself to the others with different standards, and everyone thinks that they're special. Let it be opinions, let it be their look, and so on. However, as the wise one, you should understand all of these stated things above are defiled, and they let it be wealth or family, and all of those, they're just like water bubbles. Maybe at the beginning you could have it, but after a little while, what happens to it? You should know about that. I think this pandemic, in fact, taught quite a bit to all of us, many families, many people, domestically, internationally, definitely manifested this impermanence. I think whenever we encounter suffering and problems, the arrogance would be destroyed, would be overcame. Sometimes I think to myself that it's wonderful that those people created obstacles on my path of liberating sentient beings and giving teaching to others to benefit sentient beings. Maybe at the beginning I don't quite feel very comfortable about it, or don't feel very good about those things that they did to me. But afterwards, when I think about it, I would think that's good. It could help me to overcome my arrogance. I hope that all the people who are jealous of me and create obstacles for me would enjoy happiness, and then I would contemplate again and again in such a way. Anyhow, whenever I encounter anything, I would think about that it is very difficult for people to always have a very smooth road, smooth journey, because people created karma. Or if a person's path is rather quite smooth, they would create even worse karma along the path because they don't understand what renunciation is. They cannot generate such a renouncing mind towards samsara. So that is through suffering you can overcome arrogance. When people are healthy, they feel they're the best. And when they get ill, they became more faithful. When people have social status, when they're ministers and governors and all those officials, they are quite arrogant, but after they resign from those posts, they are completely different when you have tea with them. So same applies to wealth and so on. After people lose all of those things, they tend to grasp onto, they tend to be more accommodating to others. Therefore, it could be helpful. The suffering could be helpful. And then the fourth one is using suffering to purify harmful actions. Remind yourself and realize all the suffering which I'm going through and the suffering which is great still are all the boundless sufferings that there is come from nothing but harmful negative actions. I think for the Buddhists, it's quite important to believe or have deep faith in karma and causes and conditions and fruition. You should contemplate, today I am unhealthy. It must be because I used to kill other sentient beings in this lifetime or the other. Why I lost all my money? It is probably because I must have had robbed other people's money before or harmed others. So we should understand that in fact karma is certain, cause and effect is infallible. The second one is karma multiplies enormously. And whatever you commit, and the third one is you will never face the effect of something you have not done. And fourth one, whatever you have done will never go to waste. We often say that all the karma that's created by sentient beings will not be in vain, even in thousands of eons. And whenever the causes and conditions mature, the fruition will definitely mature. So if you don't want to have those sufferings, you must eradicate its cause. That is all the non-virtuous deeds such as killing, thefting, and so on. You should use all the antidotes and confess all the previous wrong deeds you've done and make the vow of not doing them ever again and treat them with great with wholeheartedness. And then you say to yourself, so if I don't want to suffer anymore, then I must give up the cause of suffering, which is negativity. With the help of the four powers, make an effort to acknowledge and purify all the negative actions you have accumulated in the past, and then firmly resolve to avoid doing them in the future. As it is stated in the Mahaprajna Paramita Sutra, it says that whatever karma that we've accumulated has great powers, and such karma would not chase the ones who did not create them. If you did create such karma, then the fruition will definitely come. If you didn't, then it won't mature.